Hey, and welcome to my channel, Brandy Stamps. I am Brandy Barnard, excited to share with you another fun card making idea today. Today we're going to make a brand new product, something you have never had before, at least I haven't here in my stamp room. And so we're gonna kind of be little chemists and engineer our own fun product. I cannot wait to show you. And this is actually an episode of the Great American Stampin Show, which means it's a competition. And I want you to watch my video and each of my friends' videos. Their links are in my description, and just give a like to whichever one you like the best, and we crown a winner next week. Speaking of crown, you guys, you voted me the winner last week, and I'm so thankful. That was so nice of you because there were some amazing cards. Our challenge last week was this layout that had strips, and I did mine like a little gatefold that weaved open like this. So I think that's what you guys loved about it. At least I got a lot of comments along those lines. So thanks, whatever it was you loved, I really appreciate it. If you didn't catch that video, check out my channel. It's right on here from last time. To get started today, we are going to go to the Stampin' Up! Annual Catalog, page 22. All these awesome layouts are here, and we're all the way on episode 19. So we're down here on layout number 19 with all of these cute little circles and a banner. I can't wait to show you guys what I have for this one. Here is our layout, so we have it handy for inspiration. Each of us has been challenged to stay as close to this layout as we can. But what I told you is that we're going to create a brand new product today, and I want to start with that so that we have it ready to go. So let me introduce you to something that I love. This is the Wink of Stella glitter brush, and this is inexpensive, $8 or $9 in my store. All the products I'm using here are linked below in my description. And this product is just a little brush, and it brushes glitter onto your project. It is so fine and sparkly. Most of the time it doesn't even show on these darn videos, which is just heartbreaking. If you were here in my studio with me, you would be just dying over the beautiful sparkle that is now on my ring finger here. So this is a fun product, but I wanted to expand its usability to larger surfaces. And so what I'm going to do today is pull out a second different product of ours. And this is a spritzer, and these come in a 2-pack. You can just get those right on my store. They're very inexpensive, and you can fill it with whatever. A lot of people do water and diluted ink, and that will help you make some cool backgrounds and things, but there are other things you can do with it too. And what I'm going to do today is just open this up, and I'm going to fill it with rubbing alcohol. Let me lay down a couple paper towels to keep my space nice. This is the 91%. You can get it in different percentages, but the 91 is, more alcoholish. And I'm just gonna run some right here into my spritzer. This is actually, doesn't have to be messy, but down here in front of my camera mount, it ends up kind of messy, so let's set that aside. Now, the reason I'm using rubbing alcohol instead of water is so that when I use this on a project, it will evaporate very quickly, and so that helps the glimmer stay put. Now I'm going to take some of the glitter right out of my Wink of Stella and put it in here. So let's talk about how to do that. This is a Wink of Stella that's already been opened and used before, and I'm going to twist this brush tip off, and what you're going to find is this little black valve, and there's a little hole in it, and you can dump some glitter out that way, but what works a lot better is to remove the valve. So there are probably a few ways you could grab it. I'm just using the tips of my paper snip. Just kind of got a hold of it, almost like plier-ish. I held on to it and just wiggled it upward until this came loose. So look at this whole valve thing that comes out of here. Kind of fancy. There's a little bit of glitter in the end, so that'll probably go on my sheet. But down here, I've got some of our liquid glitter stuff, and I'm just going to dump a bit in. Whoop! That was kind of a lot. I was going to do 2 little droppies, but I did a lot on the first one. It really doesn't take much to make this shimmer potion that I'm working on. So let's put this back together before I create a disaster of epic proportion. So get that on this on, put it back on my shelf. There's still tons and tons in there. And now I can put my little spritzer valve back in, give this a really good shake, and this is ready to spray onto any project, giving it like this awesome glitter look. Is that gonna show? So being a girl who loves sparkle, you can imagine how excited I am just to have this in my arsenal of products. In fact, I have taken this one and I used my trusty little label maker and just marked it as a shimmer one so that I can continue to refill this and use it over and over. And you can just spritz as much or as little as you want on each project. And so let's set that aside and we will be using this on our project today. Okay, you gotta like this video now if you are excited about the shimmer spray we just created. I could throw a party. This stuff is so beautiful. I don't know how I'll make any projects without spritzing them from this point forward. Okay, so let's get to the assignment that we've been given. Here it is. And what I see are 12 little circles. So I could punch out some circles, I could die cut some circles, I could just consider these little elements. I actually did a card like this before. So when I did this one, I rotated the card the other direction with the banner. And so I did 4, 4, and 4 3 times instead of 3, 4 times. Anyway, and so you see that I just used those as kind of place markers for my stamped images, which were little letters on this card. And I loved how simple that was. There wasn't all that die cutting or punching. So I wanted to go this route again and was thinking about what images I could stamp on my background to create this kind of grid. Here is a product I had in my arsenal, the Sparkling Snowflake Stamp Set. This is from last year, so I think it's in the annual catalog. And this is one that I hadn't used yet this year to make any Christmas cards. So I pulled it out thinking maybe I could do snowflakes for the different images. Keep that one in mind because I'm not going to set it completely aside, but these were a little bit big. I'll show you those in a minute how they worked. Instead, I went to the snowflakes from Snowy Wonder and I used this little guy right here. So similar idea, but I'm just going to use a little bit smaller snowflake to do my grid of snowflakes. I've got my Versamark ink pad because I'm planning on embossing these. This gets a little tricky because I'm stamping 12 of them onto this background and I am stamping with clear ink. So I cannot totally see where I have just stamped. Just gonna give it a try. So I started with my first 6. I've basically done those 6 right here. And I'm going to go ahead and emboss those now. I'm using clear powder. So this is like the invisible project so far. You see nothing where I've stamped. You're also going to see nothing where I've embossed. So sit tight until we get to the exciting part, please. Okay, let's see if we can see those. You can kind of see where those are at. And now I'm going to flip it around and do 6 more on this side. I stamped again, I powdered again, I embossed again, and now I have all 12 of my invisible snowflakes. It's time to make them appear as if by magic. Our magic today is going to come from Emboss Resist. So I'm using a couple of my blue ink pads. I've got Lost Lagoon, I've got Pool Party, and I have a blending brush. Okay, so let's get any stray ink off of here. I have used this one mostly just in blues. We'll tap in the Pool Party. Always get the excess off on your scratch first and then come over here. I'm gonna basically do the whole center of this paper and see those snowflakes appearing. Okay, time for some Lost Lagoon. Get the extra off. And these shades are really close to each other. It's just going to give us a little darker edge. And we will just continue all the way around the edges of the project. This always makes me feel like I'm getting a workout. So you can count your aerobic exercise for the day, people. That's the good news about this project. For this emboss resist, we did some invisible embossing clear on our watercolor paper. I don't think I mentioned to you that's what this was. It was a piece of watercolor paper. Clear embossing, then we sponged on some ink, and now I'm going to come with a tissue, and I'm just doing a little circular motion, and I'm buffing off the extra ink. It's lifting it right off of these embossed images so that they'll pop a little more of that white, or it's more of a vanilla tone from underneath the clear embossing. We'll pop on those. We took that extra ink off. And now it's time for the shimmer treatment. Here's our new little shimmer spray that we made. Let's get a closer look if we can. I hope that shimmer will show for you guys. It's just absolutely a sea of shimmer all over this card base. So we'll set that aside to dry a little bit, and I knew I wanted to give it a greeting. I chose from this stamp set, Make the Season Sparkle. It's kind of smallish. I didn't want to cover up any of my images very much, and so I went for this set of dies. I think I've already sung its praises before. This is called Greetings of the Season. It's got 9 little dies. They're all kind of different tag shapes. And I just kind of pulled this out and said, okay, which one of these will suit my needs today? I could have done this oval. That one fit really well, but it kind of covered a lot of the card base, and I didn't want to do that. And so I chose this smaller one, and it kind of barely fits on there, but we're gonna cut a piece in that shape. So here's our little label. I did it in a vanilla color, just so that we could kind of match the tones of the card that we already have going. And I'm going to Make the Season Sparkle, and I'm also using Pretty Peacock. So over here, it was Pool Party and Lost Lagoon. Now I'm on to Pretty Peacock. So I'm creating kind of a really cool monochrome with 3 different shades of this kind of blue-green color. So we're gonna turn it corner-wise just a little. Make sure I've got the whole thing on here. Let's set these aside for a moment and work on our card base. This is a Pretty Peacock card base, just 11 by 4 1/4, and I scored it at 5 1/2 so that it would fold right up here at the top. And because this is kind of a darker card base, I wanted to do a piece to go on the inside. So this is just another piece of vanilla. It's 3 3/4 by 5, so it gives it kind of a fatter dark blue frame. And I'm using just a couple other stamps from the same stamp set. I don't know, whenever I put a layer on the inside, I always feel compelled to stamp it, make it look cute. And I usually always decorate the piece on the inside and the envelope to match as well. So there's our little card base, and the inside is done. I'm going to bring in a couple of other products to finish off this card. This is the Pool Party Snowball Ribbon. That's not its official name, but isn't it cute for snowballs? This is from our mini catalog right now. I'm just going to cut off enough to go kind of across the card front. This is the linen thread, and this is one of my favorite basic supplies that just looks good on every single project. So I'm cutting off about 12 inches, and I'm doing it twice. So I have 2 12-inch pieces. I'm also going to use the rhinestone jewels. This is like embellishing 101 with this and this. These are the 2 standbys that literally look good on every project, and I happen to use them both on this project. So let's pull those into our frame. And now let's hop over here. It dries pretty fast with that rubbing alcohol. Let's look back at our card base. We've got our 12 images, and we need this strip to go across, and that's where our snowball ribbon is going to come in and help us. I'm going to spread it across exactly in place of this banner. Okay, let's peel all these dimensionals and place this layer on the card front. And at the last second, I tilted it. Now let's grab our twine. I'm going to actually use both pieces together. I'm going to run my fingernail down them to straighten that out a little bit. I'm going about 3 or 4 snowballs in from the edge. I'm threading our little tag right on here, so it's just hanging out, and I'm going to tie a knot. Let's grab a dimensional. I'm putting it on the lower corner of this tag, just so I can make this tag stick the way I want it to. Let's go right about here. And then we'll go about tying our bow. Just kind of hold both pieces of twine together as if they were one, and manage that bow. Once you have this kind of in position, then you can separate these loops a little if you want to give them a little definition, or move these ends. I left these pretty long so they could just kind of float out on my card. While we are making things sparkle, let's go ahead and place some of these rhinestone gems. We'll do a nice big one up here. We've got some middle and small size ones too, so we'll put a middle and then a baby. So one of each size, kind of. We got sparkling on our palette. We've got sparkling on our tag. And as I looked at this card, I felt like, okay, this could be done. I love kind of the twist of the rustic looking linen thread, the sparkle and the shine. These pom-poms give it a lot of fun texture. And the only thing missing was Glimmer paper. You guys, it's been weeks since I've done a card without Glimmer paper. And I thought, that's fine. This is really cute without Glimmer paper. But then I just kept thinking, but what if it could be even better with Glimmer paper? So I need you to tell me whether I've done the right thing. But all I did is pull out one of our 3-tone Glimmer paper packs. This one has the white and then an olive and a berry colored. So I've got my white Glimmer paper here, and look what a small piece this is. It's just like 1/2 inch by 4 inches. I'm going to put this in my paper trimmer diagonally. So I'm looking right here. The corner is here and that corner is here. And so I can get my blade to cut this whole thing diagonally. So I'm going to lay my brace down and hold it tight and cut across this paper. So now I have these two kind of big triangles. All I'm going to do is put a little Seal Plus at the top, a single glue dot at the bottom, down at the skinny part here. And I'm going to sneak this right behind here as though I had put a whole Glimmer paper layer, just like that. Repeat, and here we go. I've got my little fake Glimmer paper layer here. And now I have 3 kinds of sparkle. I have a shimmer background, I've got my rhinestone gems, and a little Glimmer paper here. Now, I've also been using the festive Glimmer paper a ton. That's the one that has the red and green. So let's pull in some more versions of this card. What do you think of these? Does it look good with kind of more cool colors, the light green? Do you like the kind of contrast of the red behind the blue? Do you like the white? Or did you like it before I added the Glimmer paper? I am curious, what is the best option here? You can see here, this is where I tried the larger snowflake. Still really cute, still gives us that 12-piece grid. But then these two have the smaller version of the snowflake. So here are all 3 versions. We can check these out together, decide which Glimmer we like the best, admire the template and make sure we did a good job lining up with that. And me being a girl who loves sparkle, I could not have loved this card more. Thank you, friends, for tuning in today. It was great to see you here on my channel. I hope you loved all these fun sparkly cards and that you've given me your thumbs up because I was your favorite card, and that you enjoyed making your own Glimmer spritzers with me today. Be sure you're subscribed to the channel so you don't miss any Stampin' fun, and I'll see you here next time.